number of tech startups in Cameroon has been growing over the last 10 years. Experts say that this is due to an entrepreneurial appetite of the youth as well as an increasing mobile telecom landscape. According to the World Bank, fintech, health tech, as well as e-commerce are popular sectors which have created thousands of jobs since the year 2000. However, the Anglophone crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with a digital infrastructure system which has been described as inadequate, a rough business climate, and to an extent, poor policies have adversely affected the sector. In this edition, we are going in depth into Cameroon's technological ecosystem as we shall be examining the challenges and prospects of the sector. Stay with us. Our guest in this edition of the program is a self-taught software engineer transformed into an entrepreneur. He is based in Buyam in the southwest region of Cameroon. He is the pillar, some call him the king, and founder of what is today known as the Silicon Mountain out there in Buyam. His work has been acknowledged by several platforms, amongst them Forbes Africa as well as Fast Company. As a national pride and pioneer, the techpreneur has inspired many youths to venture into the digital economy in Cameroon and beyond. He is the founder of the Afrovision Group, the creator of Africa's biggest job search engine known as Joku, and now the largest and most innovative e-commerce platform known as Buyam. Join me to welcome Mambe Churchill Nanje, whose simplicity as well as humility makes him an exceptional being. Mambe Churchill Nanje, yes, the CEO of the Afrovision Group, Joku and Buyam. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me. The pleasure is mine, and we need such avenues to help push the digital agenda in Cameroon.
Exactly, the pleasure is shared. We have noted over the last 10 years that the technological ecosystem in Cameroon has been growing. Yeah. What accounts for this?
Well, first and foremost, the telcos have been pushing mobile data. In the past maybe 10 years, more people have access to internet and smartphones and computing through their phones and all that. Because before that, it was mostly going to cyber cafes, or you have broadband internet at home, which was very scarce. But nowadays, more people have smartphones and they have affordable mobile data. It's not as cheap as it's supposed to be, but it's affordable. So all of this contributes to more people being online and more people using technology in one way or another on the go. Yeah.
Now, how will you describe the reception of Cameroonians to these digital tools that are being produced?
Okay, recently I was reading a report from GSMA, they did for the ECAS region. And it was stated that in Cameroon, we have an internet penetration rate of 34%. So like that's about 8 to 10 million Cameroonians use the internet at least once a month. Another interesting figure to look at, we have over 5 million Cameroonians on Facebook, over 5 million on WhatsApp, and a fraction of that maybe on other platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, like Twitter. But also, it's very interesting that about 18 million Cameroonians use a fintech platform in one way or another, be it, in fact, all the various mobile money providers. Yes, where over 18 million accounts have been created with digital wallets. So I think it's very encouraging, and the reception has been it's 34% that is growing. So yeah.
Now, for a developer like you who has proven himself over the years, how difficult is it to come up with a product, market it, and ensure that it gets the clients that you need?
Okay, I'll give you examples like the mobile wallets from the telcos. When they launched it, it took 4 years of continuous marketing for people to start adopting it. Until today, not everybody is using these mobile wallets. That's just to give you an idea of how difficult it is. I mean, people pumping billions to market a technology that was proven already in Kenya, but it took 4 years for the market to adopt it. And it was making the life of Cameroonians easier, but it still took 4 years. So yeah, building a tech product in Cameroon is pretty challenging. Globally, it's very challenging. In Cameroon, is like double challenge.
Double
Yes,
challenge.
like it's double the challenge, because one, to build a tech product, you need to have access to a lot of money, so that you can experiment. Because sometimes you don't know what the market needs, and if you knew what the market, if you know what the market needs, it means somebody else has done it and you have seen it, which means you're going to be, you have a competitor. So to build a tech product, say in Cameroon, first it's difficult because we don't have access to investors like financial capital, and most smart tech guys or smart young people that are into tech, they're not usually from rich backgrounds or having rich parents or rich friends, but that's what they need to build good tech products. You know, for someone like Zuckerberg in the US, if he did not have access to a rich friend that only from their dormitory gave him $18,000
$18,000.
just from dorm,
Yeah.
before he even left the dormitory, they gave him 9 million francs just to say, build this thing. And then by the time he went out of the dorm, somebody called him and gave him $500,000. Without that money, there won't be Facebook today. And that's what we're lacking in Cameroon. Another thing we're lacking is that people with the right skills, because the people with the best skills are scarce. So demand and supply. Companies are looking for these smart people. So the monthly pay and wage expectations is very high. So for a startup to get them, the startup will need a lot of money to hire them. So the two things needed in the startup world to build innovation is financial capital to do marketing, to pay people, and then the human capital, which is still money. And then in Cameroon, this is scarce, and that's how difficult it is. So most times people have to struggle, find other ways, and it takes a long time before they even see the day of light. And if they're not lucky, a competitor can come in with a lot of money and just overshadow them. Yeah.
Now, does this explain why some experts will say that that tech startups in Cameroon and Africa are like high risk sectors with more likelihood to fail than to succeed?
Well, generally, even in the US, most small businesses fail. I think in 2012, when I went to a small business program, they told us that from statistics, about 90% of small businesses in the US fail. In Cameroon, I'm sure it's like 98%. 98% of small businesses fail. Yeah. So it's not just in the tech startup sector, it's in all sectors. It's just very hard for you to penetrate through the market, which is fueled by mindsets of a westernized mindset. When I say westernized, I mean people in Cameroon want you to do things like they're done in the US. Like they want you to do big branding, they want you to have a big office, and then that's when they'll believe that
it's real.
Yeah, it's real. But if you're a small guy that just built an app, and then they see you walking the streets of Boya, they were like, maybe that app is nice, but look at him, that app is not good. So it's a colonial thing. It's a colonial mindset that is stuck with us. And it's kind of challenging. That's why most small companies in Cameroon will fail. Maybe, I don't know if it's the government that's supposed to do something through the educational system and change this mindset, or if we need to have local role models that can show people that, listen, if someone starts, you support them because they could grow big and all of that.
Yeah. Of course, that's what you have been doing over the years. Yeah. Now, what should one bear in mind when getting into the tech ecosystem?
Okay, the technology sector, the tech industry is a long game industry. It's always long term. So if somebody's getting into it, they should be ready to be patient enough to keep developing, keep building the reputation. It takes time. I give you examples. Huawei in China. Today, Huawei is dominating the world, making over 100 billion in revenues every year and more. They even threaten the powers that be in the world of technology.
Had the problems that they had with the US,
all
with
of
Donald
that,
Trump,
yes,
and so on.
because they are becoming so powerful. With the 5G, they have cutting edge technology. But you know, Huawei started in 1986. And when they started, they were selling radio that they bought from Hong Kong, and they were selling these radios to the Chinese government. So from 1986 till, I'm sure Huawei started getting recognized around 2015. So it took them like 30 years to become this global behemoth that everybody knows. So in tech is a long game. You need to keep investing, keep growing, keep studying, keep building the networks, and keep pushing. You know, so yeah. What people should experiment on getting into tech is they need to know that it's a long-term thing. It's not, there's no short-term in tech. And they need to also know that they need to have they need to have access to money, like capital, or access to human capital in any form that's ready to keep building. Because another thing, tech is a talent industry. Yeah, it's not like commerce where you just buy and sell things, or you just import and then you distribute.
You have to innovate.
You need to innovate. Yes, you can have all the money in the world and you still don't succeed in tech. But if you have money, you can import rice and sell and you make a lot of money because people want to eat rice. But in tech, you can't just copy Facebook and launch. It won't work. So you need to have a way. You need to, first of all, have the talented people that will do the work before even the money can propel their innovation. So tech is one, long term. So people want to get in tech, they should know they should be ready for the long term. And two, they should know that they need to have very talented people. The smartest of the straight A guys, the science young kids that are crazy about innovation and science and experiments. You need to have a way to bring them together and build the best of the best technology and then push it as far as you can. So it's pretty interesting because the tech sector is 100% merit. You cannot be maybe a leader in tech without having merit.
And result driven.
Yeah, you must be result driven.
Result driven. Yeah.
So you can have a rich dad or rich uncle. Doesn't mean you'll be successful in technology. You need to have the talent to be successful.
All right. Now, the name Mambe Churchill is one of the biggest names in the Cameroon tech ecosystem. Of course, if you were to launch an app with your original name, of course, it's going to sell. That's what I believe in. But your story is kind of extraordinary and incredible. You are a self-taught software engineer transformed to an entrepreneur. Tell us about the journey.
So yeah, about my story, it's pretty interesting, but I'll try to summarize it. It's been 16, 17 years. So, well, Churchill was this young guy that after high school in 2003, a straight A student, kind of students that I was actually best in my class. After I moved to Boya, but I knew I was not going to the university. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I wasn't going to the university because my fear was if I go to the university, I would definitely study maybe maths or physics or one of those things, and then I end up being a teacher because that was the trend.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, Church, I'll spend a year at home, just make a decision, spend a year, look around. So I went to Boya just to be among my friends, and within that year, I decided to enroll at the Trustech Institute of Technology. I did computer repairs and maintenance. This was in 2003, 2004. But after 2004, between 2003 and 2004, I started going to the cyber cafes a lot. So I was hooked. I saw what is this internet thing? It's kind of intriguing. How did you build this Yahoo Messenger? How did you build this Yahoo email? And then I started digging on my own. So it's just because from young age, I've always been this physics student who always wanted to try things, to do experiments. Physics was my best subject. And it's because physics was about experiments. They tell you an experiment, you do the experiment, you see the results come to life. And it used to get me especially I realized I used to be very excited and happy when I try something in a physics textbook, like physically, and then the results come out. It was intriguing for me. So after A-levels and while I was in Boya, I was like, how did they build this Yahoo? It's human beings that build this, so I need to figure out how it's done. So I started digging. And as I was digging, I got to start building websites. I taught myself how to build websites. So I was digging deeper. I taught myself how to build websites that can run on a database. So I was digging again. I realized there is more. I could build a whole software that runs on the internet and all of that. And this is how I started. And within a few months of this, people knew I was doing it because I was always in the cybers. And they started coming to me and saying, hey, Church, can you build me a website? Then they'll pay me 5,000 francs. I'll build their website. And maybe for an NGO or for a project or for a school project and all of that. So this is how I got started. And I was doing that for a while. Then somebody advised me, Church, what you're doing, you can turn to a business. And then I decided to learn how to be a business person around 2006 and launch a business. And it's been a journey of learning and trying and learning nonstop. Yeah.
Now, how challenging was it staying at home first year after A levels to observe why probably your mates are going to school? We all know how our African parents behave. How challenging was it?
Oh, my mom was very supportive. The family too was very supportive. They knew that, okay, he's different. He likes doing his things his own way, so they didn't bother me much. Lucky for me too, within a year of doing this, I started making money. So they
So they
were,
saw the
they saw the
potentials in it,
potential and they were happy.
and that
So
was it.
yeah, but that's in the family. But with my friends, some of them thought, that one, they will say, he ran away from bookwork. He's lazy. He doesn't want to go to school. Look at him going to do computer. I was in computer. So they used to make jokes out of me. But after 1 year and I got a job, started making money, they all shut up. They couldn't say anything anymore because they were in the second year in the university, but I was already earning a salary. And that's how it went. So I think it's just the first year that was challenging, but I believe a lot in myself, so it didn't really affect me that much. If I didn't believe myself, I wouldn't be doing it in the first place. I wouldn't even be here today. Yeah.
All right. Now, that zeal took you to launch the Afrovision group, and later on, Joko came.
Yeah.
And Joko is like your breakthrough. It's what really has sold you out there across the world. Tell us a bit about that journey.
Yeah, since I was building websites for people around, somebody advised me to start a business. That's when I decided to launch a consulting business, which is Afrovision Group, where we build software solutions like web, mobile, and enterprise software solutions, websites, web applications for clients all over the world. We have worked with clients in almost all continents, from Australia to Asia to, of course, Africa to Latin America. We have clients all over the world with Afrovision Group. But it's not very known because it's B2B. People don't know that much about it because it's more concerned about enterprise customers and clients. So yes, Njoku now came after because Afrovision Group, I realized that we always needed new talent. So I'll get young people, I will train them, and then they're working on a project, then something will happen. Maybe they want to further their studies. Since talents are scarce, maybe another company will push them and pay them the kind of money I couldn't pay them at the time. And when I lose them, the project they were working on will really strain. So I was looking for a place where I could easily and quickly hire new talent. And there was no place. And I'm a software guy. So I said, since there is nothing like that exists, let me create it so I can use it. That's when I decided to build Njoku. Because on Njoku, people can, when they search for a job they don't find, they can upload their CV. And I know when these CVs are uploaded, if I lose a developer or engineer or a salesperson, I can just go and find a replacement. That was the initial reason I built Njoku. And then it exploded, and I decided to put in more effort and build a company around it, and then grow it, get more customers, and all of that. Yeah. So that's the story connecting the two projects.
All right, and now you have Buyam,
Yeah.
which was created recently. What is it all about?
Buyam, it's an e-commerce platform. It's a marketplace where what we are doing is unique to Africa. It's unique to Buyam. We are digitizing shops. So we are digitizing e-commerce in Africa by digitizing shops all over. For instance, we come to Douala, we'll go to Marché Central, we create digital shops for each vendor in Marché Central. We'll go to Marché Congo, we create digital shops for each vendor there. We'll go to Bonaberi, we'll see all the shops there, we'll create digital versions of those shops, and we upload their products. Now, if somebody in Douala is looking for a t-shirt, a sneaker, you're looking to buy even livestock like goat, you're looking to buy vegetables, you're looking to buy anything that they sell in shops in Cameroon, you take your phone and you install the Buyam app, and then Buyam will use your location to find the closest shop around you that has that product. And you can order online, and you can even bargain. You bargain with them like, okay, I've seen this shoe, you say it's 40,000. Please, can I pay 30,000? Just like we do shopping here. And you can talk like that with many vendors that sell shoes, and you choose which vendor you buy from, and you can pay them and they'll ship it to you. Since they're in Douala, they'll ship it to your location. Or you can send someone there to pick it up, or you can go there yourself, pay and pick it up. Yeah. So we're trying to create digitized commerce in Africa, one shop at a time. That's what we're doing with Buyam. So it's a mobile app for shopping in Cameroon and Africa.
talking about it, we all know that in Cameroon, we talk about e-commerce. It's not really been a sector that has stood the test of time in Cameroon. How challenging is it launching the new product Buyam into a sector where Jumia, with all what he has achieved in Africa and across the world, did not succeed in Cameroon? Um, how is how challenging is it to bring Bayam to Cameroon?
Well, like every other tech company, building Buyam is very challenging because you need the financial resources, you need the human capital resources. Although Silicon Mountain is helping with the human capital resources, but the financial resources is still very challenging. But we have a higher chance to succeed with Buyam where Jumia failed because Buyam is taking into consideration the Cameroonian realities. Jumia was having a monolithic e-commerce model. Buyam is having a distributed e-commerce model. The monolithic e-commerce model means Jumia has a big warehouse. They put all their products there from all their vendors and suppliers. And then you buy from Gaoundere from that big warehouse. Yeah. And they have to ship it from that big warehouse to Gaoundere. But with Buyam is the opposite. It's like decentralized computing, wherein we have shops in different locations, and all these shops, they serve like mini warehouses for Buyam. And these warehouses are operated by different small vendors who are all part of the Buyam ecosystem. You understand? So in essence, if you're in Limbe or you're in Boya and you're buying an iPhone, we will get you a vendor in Boya that is selling an iPhone, and then you shop from that vendor, which means the biggest issues that Jumia faced, we have solved them. I'll explain. The first issue that Jumia faced was logistics. To transport from the warehouse in Douala and deliver in Boya, or from the warehouse in Douala and deliver in Kusiri, there's a lot that can go wrong. And by the time the product gets to the buyer might say, this is not what I ordered. And they have to return it. So they have lost money in transportation and lost money
and time too.
And then most times, the vendors will have to wait, the buyers will have to wait till the product gets to them to know if it's what they're looking for. So in that model, that monolithic model, even in Europe, in the West, returns are very high. Returns are very, very high. But with the buyer model, the returns will be low because most times you will know the vendor and you will know the quality they sell. And when you order, you can, and even Buyam doesn't have to spend much money to transport because we'll just pick it up from UB Junction in Boya and deliver it at Class Porters. And if it's not what you want, we'll take it back from Class Porters and take it to UB Junction, same day. So it's faster, it's easier. And the other thing Jumia faced was in Africa and Cameroon, people like to bargain before they buy something. And Jumia did not allow people to do that. So the top 1% in Africa, or 10%, which is a huge number in Nigeria and maybe Ghana, Kenya, can buy like that. But there's a 90% that will never buy like that. If they see a wristwatch, for say it's 80,000 francs, they will want to bargain and say, okay, I saw the wristwatch is 80,000. What if I could buy that wristwatch? Please, I have 50,000. But now when you go to Jumia and you see some traditional e-commerce, you see it for 80,000. You must buy at 80,000. And you don't know what is coming. So it made it very, like 90% of people could not adopt it. But with Buyam, 100%, all Cameroonians can adopt it. Why? You can actually talk to the vendor, bargain, and even the vendor can show you other options, all through chat or even video call. And you're sure of what you're buying, and then you pay and the vendor ships it to you. Oh, yeah, you see? So we have issues of delivery that we have solved, I believe we have solved. We have issues of bargaining to buy, the culture, our local culture, we have also integrated it into Buyam.
Now, what about trust? Because it's also a very important component of e-business, trust between the buyer and the trader. How does Buyam solve that?
Okay, we approach that in two ways. The first is normally we can't really depend on the judicial system. But if you look at the country, people already do digital things based on trust. For example, people go to banks and keep their money in banks. I mean, you imagine you just go to somewhere, you don't know the person, you take your money and you go and keep there, and you go home and you're sleeping. I bet you maybe when that thing first came, most people were like, I'll keep my money in my house. Yeah, but they do it. But why do they do it? Some simple things that we just analyze. They do it because the bank has some strict procedures. They ask for your ID card. They ask for your picture. They do your KYC. And when they do that KYC, they make sure you're authentic, you're not fraudulent and all of that. So we just learned from that. So with Buyam, every vendor that has a shop on Buyam gets verified. So we get your ID card, we get your location, latitude and longitude, we get your location confirmation, a document that confirms the location. And if you want to register a corporate account, we get all your business documents. And then we put in our database and we approve your shop. And when you upload your products, we know where this shop is. And we know the products you're uploading, and we know you're not fraudulent. In case anything happens, we will use this information and we'll take it to the appropriate security people like the police, or we'll take it to the courts. But that's how we are trying to avoid fraud and scam. But at the same time, the fact that people can bargain, talk with the vendor, have that human touch, is going to build trust, because most people like, if I go to Jumia, it's just electronic, or if I go to traditional e-commerce, it's just electronic, I just order and pay, right? I don't even know who I'm buying from. But with Buyam, if the shop is in my state central and in Bonaberi, you can talk with the shop owner, and the person will, because it's a real person, you can confirm if that's the shop, you can even do a video call. And for the first purchase, if you're still scared, you can actually drive or take a bike or taxi, go there after talking with the person, enter their shop, pay and collect what you want, even measure it. But now, what Buyam has helped you do is just serve like a search engine, like Google, where you search for the product and you know where it's found, and you go and you pick it up. But once you do that the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you'll be like, oh, there's no point. I know that shop, or I know Buyam has never led me to a wrong person. So you just sit online, chat with the person, pay, and the person will deliver, because the people have contracts with Buyam. And if they don't deliver, we'll suspend their shop to avoid future issues, and we will make sure that we follow up for refunds and all that.
Okay. All right. Now, one problem which e-commerce startups have been facing in Cameroon and Africa is the ability to scale and be profitable. What are some of the challenges accounting for this?
Okay. Yes, that's a very nice question. It's the core. Yeah, you know, there are e-commerce companies in Africa that have raised millions of dollars, $400 million, $100 million, but you still don't see them scale, you know. When a company like Google, the maximum they raised from venture capital was $20-something million, and they scaled to billions, yeah. The reason why e-commerce is finding difficulties to scale and be profitable is centered around the challenges we mentioned earlier. Logistics. For instance, if you ship goods, you spend money to ship goods and they get sent back because the customer didn't want, or they break in the process because of bad roads, that's money lost. And most of our payment infrastructure isn't yet solid on the internet. So paying online is still very, very sketchy and very difficult. And of course, coupled with the fact that most people will not pay for something they have not seen, or they have not talked with the person before paying, or coupled with the fact that people want to bargain before they buy, it makes it difficult in many ways for e-commerce to really scale and be profitable. Because to do traditional commerce in Africa, you need to spend a lot of money in logistics, transporting the goods from one end to another, shipping the goods maybe from China, buying at bulk, in bulk from Europe or China, and then bringing it to Cameroon. You see all that brought to that headache, that logistical headache. And then when you get it to the warehouse, when people order, you have to ship it to the warehouse, and they order, they don't pay. You have to go and deliver, and they check it, then they pay now on delivery. Now, you spend money to also ship. Sometimes they'll reject and you have still lost money. So you're moving it all around, but you're losing money. And you need a lot of people that are doing work you're paying them for, but you're not profiting from each head. And then by the time you deliver and the person pays, if the product you're delivering it has a lot, is maybe $1 million francs, and the person delivering it earns 100,000 a month, there's a probability that that person can run away with that 1 million francs, you know, because it's tempting.
Sure.
Yeah. So e-commerce companies tend to lose, they had to lose a lot of money this way, because first you ship it and then people buy and they pay, and then your salespeople or your collectors disappear with the money, or recovery and all of that. It's just too much headache. So doing traditional e-commerce in Cameroon, I don't think it's the Cameroonian way. First, Cameroonians don't shop like that. Secondly, we don't have the infrastructure to do it. So you can pump a lot of money there, waste a lot of money there, but it won't really scale. Yeah.
All right. Now, I was going through one of your articles where you observed that news talking about technology is focused more on fundraising. This startup has raised this, this enterprise has raised this, with less news on innovation. How disturbing for you is it?
Well, I would say that it's kind of showing the wrong direction for the young, smart people, you know. And people might say maybe I'm jealous, maybe because I've not raised so much money and all of that. Well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I have to say it as I feel, as I analyze it. From my analysis, people are more focused nowadays on raising capital. But once you raise the capital, the one thing they didn't do was to build a company. Because you spend your whole time raising capital. During that period, what you're not doing is building a company. A successful company. And what is a successful company? One that invests money, make revenue, and from the revenue minus the investment, they get a profit. That's what so most times people just feel, okay, if I raise the capital, and I build it, then people will come. And no, that's another thing in Africa, that doesn't work. For you to make tech work in Africa, I've been preaching this, it's sales first, of course, before innovation, but the innovation must follow. You know, because innovation is adapting the technology with the users. Yeah. But people, nowadays, I've heard a lot, okay, in Nigeria, for example, which is ahead of us in a way. From 2012 till now, you've seen a lot of people raise money, millions of dollars. This one has raised 40 million. This one has raised $50 million. This one has raised $100 million. This one, they're raising millions and millions of dollars. But when I look at the whole ecosystem in Nigeria, I don't see any company that has become as big, maybe like the UBA.
That's emerged.
Yeah. They're all struggling either to build a company proper, to make the kind of money that warrants the kind of investment they have gotten, and all of that. So I think there's a disconnect. Yeah, of course. Innovation needs money. Building a company needs money. But I believe people should focus more on building the company first, and then let money come and scale it. Yes. But now we rather raise the money, maybe for ego reasons, or just to show that I'm a successful tech guy, look how much I've raised. But I've been seeing people raise money a lot, but I don't see any company emerge.
But Churchill, can we say that this may be due to the inability of the techpreneurs to identify the consumer needs, thus coming out with solutions which adequately match the desires of the consumer? Do you think that is what may cause some of these companies not to be innovative like they ought to be?
Well, there are a couple of things. One of them is but the first thing I like to attribute it to raise money maybe from Silicon Valley venture capitalists. You need to tell them a story that they are used to. Yes. You need to tell them a story that matches the narratives that they have or what they know. And now if you craft it to what they know, it might not be what Africa needs. Yeah. So you might raise the money, but what you're building is not what Africa needs.
It's not adapted to the needs of the market.
So, and maybe sometimes when you now build with what Africa needs, it might not have the kind of numbers in terms of revenue, in terms of user growth, that the Silicon Valley investors find attractive. And now they won't invest in something that might rather be viable. You understand? So the challenges are deeper. Maybe also the policies that don't favor tech innovation and all of that. Maybe the support networks, the systems. But yeah, I personally see that a lot of people are raising money, but I'm not seeing any concrete or successful business out of all these fundraise, you know. I mean, I've seen if a company can raise close to $400 million, I expect them to be as big as EcoBank. But they aren't. You understand? Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. So I've been analyzing this. I think it's a problem. We need to go back to the drawing board and be like, let's push more of innovation and engineering and tech culture, innovation, engineering, and all this tech culture.
Yeah.
And then we now bring money into
to
that
just scale.
to scale it up. Yeah. I think that could be the way the disconnect is.
All right, now let's come to Cameroon, Silicon Mountain. You are one of the founding fathers. Some call you the king of Silicon Mountain in Buea. When Silicon Mountain came up in 2006, did you believe that it would be as known, as popular, as famous as it is today?
I am an introvert. I am like I've taken some personality tests a couple of times. I'm like 97% introverted, which is why this job is just suited for me. I can spend my whole day on the computer just working, and I'll be very happy. Yeah. So to say that when we started, I wasn't thinking of imagining or wanting it to be known big. No, it has never been my interest. My interest has always been, I need to use my abilities to build amazing things that will really change the world in one way or another. So yeah, when we started, I was not thinking it would be big. And when it started getting big, I was even shying away from the press, from the media, till my friend advised me that no, it's good to use the media to push, you see all these amazing things you want to build. Yeah, the media can help you tell the world about these amazing things. So that is what even gave me the courage to be able to fight my fears as an introvert and be appearing in the media. So no, I didn't think it would be big or all of that. I just knew that we'll build amazing software that millions and millions of people will use. That was my focus, and that's still my focus till now.
All right, now let's talk 2017. I talk 2017 because it's a year which will change Silicon Mountain forever. When government, due to the socio-political unrest, decided to give a blackout to an internet blackout in the Northwest and Southwest regions. So how did you and some of your peers cope during that time?
Well, as an entrepreneur, the word entrepreneur comes from the French word entreprendre, which loosely translates to take risk or risk taker. So you can say entrepreneur is a risk taker. We take risk. I mean, just living in Buea and trying to build a company in Buea, it's already a lot of risk. I mean, Buea, when people want to build a company, come to Douala. What are you doing in Buea? So when they kept the internet, the first thing we did was, for me, I sat down. I spent 2 days at home thinking the internet would come back. It didn't come back.
Of course, there was no official announcement. It just went and...
Yeah. It didn't come back. So I drove to Douala. I drove here to Douala. They told me there's internet in Douala. So I drove to Douala. I took a hotel. I started working from a hotel. I actually worked from a hotel for like 3 months, losing a lot of money in the process, but just to make sure my clients were happy. And after that, and most of my friends, that's what they did. But after I work, because Douala is kind of harsh for brain work and engineering, trust me, this place is harsh. Douala is harsh. I work Mondays to Fridays, and Fridays I go back to Buea, where it's calm, the air is fresh. I will rest the whole weekend. On one of my weekends when I went back to Buea, I met my friend Valerie. Valerie Kolong is one of the tech pioneers in Silicon Mountain. He told me all this Douala we're going is too expensive. Maybe we should find another solution. So he told me the internet starts at the toll gate. If you know the road between Tico and Douala, there's a toll gate there. And that toll gate, maybe 30 kilometers before the River Mongo, the bridge, the Mongo Bridge, that's where the internet started. So we went there, we found a house. We rented the house, and then we set up our office there. We took some tables, office tables and chairs. And then we switched now, and we were driving from Buea every morning, 40 minutes, we park. We'll sit there and work till late, and then we drive back to Buea. So it became part of life. Like, this is our new life. Our office now is at the toll gate. We drive to work. If I was in Europe, I would take a train to work at the same time. Yeah, so it wasn't an issue at that point, till the internet was returned.
All right, now, but did you at any point feel like at one time the government could say, well, these are young guys who have ideas that may perhaps beat us. We have cut the internet, and we have people who are, every time they're on the internet looking for solutions and so on. Did you and your peers have fears that maybe you could become targets for the government trying to breach that ban?
Well, no, that did not cross our mind because before they kept the internet in 2017, we're lucky that we had a lot of media exposure in 2016. BBC, CNN, France 24, everybody was talking about Silicon Mountain. And the government was always also very keen on what we're doing, inviting us for things. And so they knew us. They knew, of course, at some point they had to probe us to make sure we are not a security threat. But definitely we had nothing to hide and we were not interested in that. We just wanted to be building amazing software solutions, innovations from Veuillez to the world. That's all we wanted to do. So we found ways to do that. So no, that was never an issue.
Now, beyond the discomfort of you leaving Veuillez, which was your base, relocating, do you think that the blackout has somehow been a blessing? Because most of the companies now have locations in Douala, in Yaoundé, in other major towns. How beneficial has that been? Do you think like Silicon Mountain has been decentralized?
Oh no, not really. Silicon Mountain is geographical. It's a geographical zone around Mount Fako. It's a mountain, so the silicon activities in the mountain. Yeah. So it's always going to be in the mountain. Silicon Mountain is around the mountain. There's no Silicon Mountain in Douala. There's no Silicon Mountain in Yaoundé. Maybe they have Silicon Douala. I don't know. I saw a report recently talking about Silicon Douala, but I saw another report Silicon River in Yaoundé. But no, Silicon is the silicon activities. You know, our smartphones, our computers, computer software runs on silicon chips. Yeah. So if you build business around computer software or programming, you're building around silicon chips. Yeah. And then the people building around silicon chips around the mountain,
the geographical area.
Now they get coined, they get branded as the silicon operators in the mountain. Yeah. So the Silicon Mountain. So no, Silicon Mountain is always going to be around Fako. But in a way, the crisis helped me in particular. It taught me how to focus on what's most important. Before, I had a lot of luxury, like I could just try different things. I had my clients, they were paying well, so I could just be investing in different projects and trying different things. And lose the money, I will not care. Because, you know, they say, there's a concept where they say, you shoot ideas on the wall and find out what sticks. I was doing that. But it was luxury and it was waste, because a lot of it falls. But since the crisis, I was forced to focus on being very frugal, being very tight on investment because the money was not coming, and trying to focus on what works the most. And in a way, I can say all of that led me to building Buyam. Yeah, something that can make money from day one. Something that you don't build first, and then make money after. You make money as you build, which is the model I think most startups in Africa need. Yeah. And
then just when things were about to come up, the COVID-19 came.
Exactly. Yeah. But with COVID-19, I would say Veuillez people were already very comfortable. We had the Anglophone crisis for like 2, 3, 4 years. We had internet shut down. We had had everything thrown at us, but we went through. So when COVID-19 came and there were lockdowns, all of that, the rest of the country was crying. But in Veuillez, we're used to, because before we had training, exercise, where they would say 20 days lockdown, 10 days lockdown. And we were adapted. So when they came and said COVID-19 lockdown, like, okay, we were already used to walking through the lockdown. So it didn't affect COVID-19. The only way COVID-19 affected me in particular is my global clients. Most of my global clients pulled back on most of the projects we're working on. So I lost a lot of money during that period because they themselves didn't have money. So they were like, Church, we can't build this anymore. So sorry, we cannot build this platform. We have to wait. I lost a lot of contracts like that. But apart of that, no, we were already used to and we're working out quite all right.
But now, do you think that with many people going online due to the COVID-19 restrictions and the rest, do you think that somehow it puts some pressure and responsibility and maybe to an extent, I would say, an opportunity for you, the techpreneurs, to you know, take the opportunity and develop solutions that are adapted to the times?
Well, the thing in the West, COVID-19 forced people not to go out. It was that bad that everybody stays at home and orders things online. So it was a boom in electronic commerce. Amazon grew very fast that period. Amazon made a lot of money. And tools that help people work online, like video conference tools like Zoom, also grew very fast that period. On-demand commerce, where you demand like Uber or Uber Eats, it grew very fast. But in Cameroon, it wasn't the case. I mean, during COVID, I saw people in the market buying and doing things.
Violating COVID restrictions.
Yeah, because it was not affecting them that much. We're not dying every day. So it wasn't, there was not that complete lockdown that you could say will force people to go online. So it didn't really boom. The only thing that could boom is the multinationals force their staff to work from home. And because those were imported policies, because from their multinational headquarters, they had forced that, so all the subsidiaries globally had to implement that. So people were working from home. But COVID, are you serious? I went to Buyam market and you saw people still talking face to face and bargaining and arguing. So yeah, it didn't really push for local adoption of technology. No, it didn't really push. You know, we didn't even have contactless needs here. Contactless needs, like in the West, when you go to shops during COVID, you avoid to touch places. So you pay with your phone, you just pay, scan and pay so that you don't touch anything. You pick up things and you go home. So we even push digital payment, digital wallet adoption. But here, no. People still had cash. They were exchanging cash every day. So I think COVID was more of a fall-over policy in Cameroon than real on the grassroots policy. No, it was top-bottom. So since it wasn't affecting us too much, it didn't push the kind of drive towards technology that it had in the West. We didn't have the same problems here.
All right, now let's look at the government's role and support. You know, since COVID, government has been saying that the digital economy is the next big thing after agriculture and oil, that government wants to put in the resources and assist startups that are going digital. Recently, the government gave free internet bundles to those of the Silicon Mountain for them to scale their work. How appreciative are you of government support?
Actually, that is a very interesting and exciting occurrence. I'm very happy because the government, through Min Postel, decided to acknowledge that we exist in Boya. Young people are there who are making the country proud, who are representing the country by building amazing technology that's changing Africa, changing Cameroon. So when the government came and said, okay, when the minister said, okay, we'll give you guys free internet for a year, I was very happy. And now they have started implementing it, though it has some hiccups. But yes, the connections are getting installed. And it's a welcome, and it's different. It's something new. You know, growing up in this country, we've always felt like the government is this, the government is that. This, yeah. It's always the negatives. But now, for once, I can proudly say there's something positive. The government has given us internet for free for a year. I mean, it's our tax money, of course, but they decided to say, you guys are the future. This is our support, and it's just a start. They have a lot more they plan to do with us, and I'm very happy with this public-private partnership that is molding. It could take 10, 20 years, but it's something big on the way. And to me, it's a plus. There's nothing negative to take out of it.
All right, now we have also seen, as part of government's policy, the introduction of technology in school that has been taught in school. Do you think that should now, the first question I want to find out is, how do you rate the teaching of technology as a subject in school? And are there some recommendations that you can give for it to have more impact? Do you think that it should be brought even to the primary school? Because at the basic education level, most things needs to be done.
Well, for starters, I think the education in terms of computer science can be more practical. It should be more practical. That would be my recommendation. It shouldn't just be theory, or you talk about Python, or you talk about Pascal, or you talk about Java programming with the kids, or you talk about Excel access in secondary school. But they should also have them work on practical solutions and practical problems. It should be more about problem solving. But also, I don't personally think it should go towards primary school. Maybe in primary school, they can introduce them to using basic electronic gadgets and using the internet in a supervised environment. But I think for cognitive reasons, it's when people are like from 14 years and above that you can really train them on real computer science and real programming and solving real world problems. Yeah, but I think the education system is improving, but it's like 20% where it's supposed to be. We're supposed to push further so that by the time these kids get to the university, they have the skills needed to work in startups like Buyam, like Joku. And by the time they leave university, they have maybe 6 years experience that they will just fit in, and we will not have to train them. Because nowadays, when I hire people from university, I still have to train them for like 6 months to a year for them to really integrate into my team.
Now, let's talk about the role of women. Some critics say that the tech environment in Cameroon does not have many women. Some say that it's not women friendly. What's your take about it?
Well, in 2012, I noticed that there were more men around me doing tech. So I had a policy. I was going to mentor more girls. So I've been mentoring a lot of girls since then. Unfortunately for me, most of the girls, when I mentor them, they fall bush, they go abroad. They go abroad and they're working in top companies. Yeah. I have my mentees working at Microsoft, Nokia, working at Amazon, machine learning, and they're doing amazing, but they're not here, you know. And most of the times, once they get the skills, they leave. But yeah, Silicon Mountain is all inclusive. We have a community in Boya as part of a Silicon Mountain called Women Tech Makers that we are promoting a lot. They are all about women, building tech, working in tech. And in my team, I always ensure that if I have 5 guys, I should have 5 women. Even if I tend to lose the women, but I'll keep recruiting and mentoring more. Because we need the balance. If you want to build a platform like what I'm building with Buyam, on Joku, for example, the users that will use it, there are more women that will use it than men by sheer demographics. There are more women on Earth than men. Yeah, the proportion is not that high as people thought, but it's like 56-44. But it's still higher. So if more women will be using technology and you have only men building it, who is making sure the technology fits into their needs? Yeah, I'll give you an example of Buyam. On Buyam, one of our most popular categories is fashion, and the most popular subcategory is women fashion on Buyam. Now, if it's just men that are building the software, how are we going to know how to make it very, very accommodating and easy to use for the women?
We know that they love comfort. They don't love going out. They want everything fast.
Exactly. Fast, yeah. But now if it's men building it, what do men know about women? That's why in my team, we have the men working on it and we have the women to work. Like our user interface is actually, all our user interfaces are built by a girl. Yeah, she's our frontliner when it comes to UI, user interface and user experience. So you need that female touch to make it balanced. So yeah, in Silicon Mountain, we are trying to fix that because we know it's a need. I don't know about the other tech companies in Douala and Yaoundé and all that. But some people have the stereotype that when you work with women, it's more difficult. Maybe, you know, women have their own, they consider women to be weaker. Or maybe when she gets pregnant, she has to be off for like a year. But the man will not get pregnant and be off for a year. Yeah. You know, they start thinking of things like that. But no, women have their place. They are needed. It's not like it's an afterthought. Without them, tech will not succeed as it's supposed to succeed. Without a woman, Facebook will not be what it is today.
Sure.
So
TikTok.
Yeah, all those, yeah, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's important, and that for me, I believe a lot. Since 2012, so 10 years now, I've been pushing for pro women. Like I said, I still get to lose them to go work for Microsoft because all those companies are also looking for women. So when I mold a woman, come here. And I can't grab you.
Most of them have gender equality as a policy.
So since I started mentoring women, all of them they always leave the country. They always fall bush.
All right. Now, just before we go, you have been in the sector for 20 years now, gone places in Cameroon, Africa, traveled in the world. If there's going to be that breakthrough in the tech sector, what do you think? What's your vision? What are you hoping to see?
Well, Cameroon is not in an island. Even if it was an island, even islands are part of the world, the global economy. It's not an island economy, it's a part of a global economy. So we can look at what the trends abroad in the West or in other parts of Africa and see where Cameroon will be. So the things that are big right now in tech, of course, we have Apple, which is smartphones. And in Cameroon, smartphones are big. We have Microsoft, which is software and hardware. Enterprise solutions. We have Google, which is information, access to information, and all of that. We have Amazon, which is commerce. So I believe that digital in Cameroon will be centered around things like information access, commerce, and enterprise solutions. Yeah, that is the direction that it will head. And that's where Buyam is going. Remember I said we are digitizing shops. Shops are enterprises. We want to help these shops become digital players. We take every shop, we help enable them with our technology and our tools to embrace technology in their operations, which will expose them to many things.
Exactly. I just wanted to ask the question, why should these shops go digital? Why should every business go digital?
For the shops in particular, they should go digital because one, they'll increase their sales. Two, they'll have visibility on data. Data here means in their catalog of 200 products that they sell, if they are digital, they can tell which product has more attention. Which product sells more. Data would help them know that this product sells more, this doesn't sell. We buy what sells more. Data can even help them project. In 5 months' time, this product will sell more, this one will not sell. So that's what digital brings. Today, they are all flying in the dark and in soul. They don't see their data. And this is something they're lacking. When they go digital, they will have it in the palms of their hands. So with Buyam, we are planning to give every shop owner power in their hands to tell them, this product sells more, this product has more interest. People in this area like this product more. Things like that. But why not? Another thing these shops need the most is loans, investment. But they can't get access to these investments. Why? Because they don't have records. But when they are digital, they don't need to even bother keeping those records. The platform will keep the records for them. And we can expose these records to banks, and banks will call you up and give you a loan to grow because your data shows that you're growing. So there is a lot of reasons why they should go digital, you know? And of course, with digital, if you have a shop in Aqua, but you become digital, your shop is no longer an Aqua shop.
Aqua shop.
It's a shop across Cameroon and across Africa. You send your link to somebody in Japan and they're ordering and asking you to deliver to somebody in Bamenda. And now you've become a global player. So your business is no more centered around a small geographic location. It goes bigger. And it's endless. So they should all go digital, you know. They can even keep track of their accounting. They'll see where they are, if they're losing money or making money. Nowadays, they just fly solo and in the dark. Digital will come and open their eyes and they'll see bright light and everything changes. And Buyam is there to accompany them throughout the whole process, step by step. Yeah.
All right, Mambe Churchill Nanje, thank you very much for talking to us. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, and the pleasure was all mine.
All right, and to you, televiewers, it was a pleasure being with you in this edition of the program. Until next time, it's bye-bye.